Now, let's talk about selection of your edge loops and your face loops again. Now, selection is one of the most important things in Maya. When you're selecting an edge face loop, you just need to select one face, okay, in face mode, holding down the shift, go to the adjacent face, double click, and then this face will be selected. Okay, and if you continue from here and holding down the shift and double click, okay, of course, everything will be selected. Now, if an element, if a connected piece of polygons are selected, if you double click, everything will be selected. Now, when you're in edge mode, if you want to select an edge loop, you just need to double click on it and the edge loop will be selected. One of the common problems with beginners is that when you select an edge loop, and if you just simply hit the delete key, okay, if I press the delete key here, it will seem that the edge loop has disappeared completely. But what you notice that there are still a couple of edges here. If you right mouse click and switch over to vertex mode, you notice that the vertices are still there. Now, if you do not remove all these vertices, you're gonna cause a lot of issues later on when you try to insert edge loops because you have created multi-sided face here, right? So the proper way to get rid of an edge loop, okay, I've just selected those vertices and deleted them. Now, the proper way to get rid of an edge loop is to double click and select the edge loop you want to remove, then hold down into this key combination, Control Delete. By using Control Delete, you will notice that it will remove the edge loop and the vertices cleanly. Okay, so let's create a gap in this polygon plane right now. Now there's an open gap, and although this is a single object, please take note that although you see two separate objects, it appears like there are two separate objects, this is still considered a single object. Okay, so if you want to select a single or separated object within or a component within an object, all you need to do is just double click and that component will be selected. Okay, same thing from here. Just double click and the component will be selected. Now, what if you want to join these two edges? Okay, there's more than one way to do it, but the quickest and fastest way will be to select the opposing edges like that. Okay, see, notice that I select this edge, holding down the shift and double click. Now this edge is selected. Now holding down the shift again, select, and then double click the opposing side. Now you can see that both sides, both the edges are now selected. Okay, then holding down to your shift key, right mouse click over any of the selected edges, and then you can use the bridging tool. Okay, so before you bridge, go over to the option box and make sure that you are not having multiple divisions. So make sure you switch it to 0 and hit bridge. And then you can quickly patch up this area. All right, I'm going to remove away the face again. I'm going to show you another technique. Okay, let's say I want to only join these two edges. Okay, there's another tool. Okay, it's a slightly older tool. I don't think it's actually available here. They might give it another name already. Okay, let me see whether I can still find it. Okay, then this one, append to polygon. Click on the edge that you want to join, and then click on the opposite side, and then you will create a preview of the join, and then you can press enter. Okay, so it's under Mesh Tools, append to polygon. All right. So remember, you can use either bridging or append to polygon to bridge this area. So let me just demonstrate again. I'm going to select this edge here, holding down the shift, double click to select this edge, holding down the shift again, double click to select this edge. Okay, now these opposing edges are now selected. I'm pressing 4 to go to wireframe mode, pressing 6 again, go to shaded view again, holding down the shift, right mouse click, and then you use the bridge tool. Now, if you end up with a hole like this is actually much easier to fix. Go to edge mode, double click and select the edge. Every time you see a hole and its edges are connected, okay, that means you can easily patch this up. Okay, now this one just nice is a 4-sided hole. Okay, so holding down the shift, right mouse click, choose the option called fill hole, and your hole will be patched. Okay, but what if you have a hole that is more than 4-sided? Will it still work? Yes. You go to the edge, double click, all right, and then You hold down the shift, right mouse click, and then you say fill hole. It will fill the hole, but you notice there's something strange about this face here. Okay, it does not have any edge loops that runs across the opposing side. Now, what will happen if I subdivide this? If I press number 3 to subdivide this. If I press number 3, you see that you end up with this weird looking shape because there's no continuous edge loops that connects opposite like this. Remember the rule about subdivision modeling. You must always ensure that every face is four-sided. When everything is four-sided, when you press number 3 to subdivide, everything will look much nicer, much smoother. Okay, you will not end up with a weird artifact looking at this. This is called a subdivision artifact. And the reason that is causing this subdivision artifact is that we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8-sided face. Okay, remember, multi-sided faces are bad. 4-sided faces are good. Once in a while, you might have some 3-sided faces, but please use them minimally. Okay, you might have 1 or 2 3-sided faces for challenging areas which you need to model the detail. So how do we fix this? Okay, that's where we use the multi-cut tool. Now, if you go to the, okay, I don't know what happened to my Polygon. Okay, there it is. Okay, my Polygon tabs here, you can see there's this tool that looks like a knife that draws several points down. This is the multi-cut tool. The multi-cut tool can also be accessed when you are in face mode. Okay, if you hold down the shift, you can have the multi-cut tool. It's the same thing. Or you can access the multi-cut tool in your Polygon toolbox, which is on the top right-hand corner here. If you open it up, you can, and scroll down, you can see there's a multi-cut tool here. So you can also access the same thing here. Now, when you click on multi-cut tool, you notice the icon has changed into a knife tool. And it conveniently snaps to area that we want to cut. For example, I want to cut from here to here. You just need to cut and then join the other side and then press enter. Same for the other side, click and enter. So now you end up with a proper looking polygon. Now to get out of the cutting function, you just need to press Q. Q will go to selection mode. So now if I press number 3 to subdivide it, you notice that now it is very nice and smooth. Okay, there's no more artifacts. Okay, so these are some of the tools that I strongly recommend you guys to use. And it will actually help you to fix holes and patches. Now, there's one more tool that I didn't really cover with you guys. That is the Bevel tool. Now, you know that computer graphics, right? Especially the primitives. When you do not add enough edges, if I press number 3 like this, you need minimum, you need to have 2 edges, right, to show a rounded edge. Okay. So, but if you want the edges corner to be tighter, normally what you do is you need to insert another edge loop. Okay, so right now I inserted an edge loop around this this fairing, and if I press number 3, okay, so you can see now the edge here is rounded, or the corner is a little bit tighter. The same thing for this. Let's say I wanted the top crest here to be tighter. I can insert an edge loop over here. And if I press number 3 right now, you can notice that this edge, or rather this corner here, is harder than this corner here. So remember this basic rule here. Whenever there are 2 edge loops that are very tight together or very close together, you create a tighter edge. Okay, that is for subdivision polygon modeling. So another way that you can do this is to use Bevel. I can double click on this, holding down the shift and right mouse click. You can use this option called Bevel Edge. And you can see that it automatically split it evenly into 2 edges. And if you go over to the channel box here, and if you can go over to the Bevel options, you can actually adjust things like the offset, okay, the segments, how many segments you want, all right, the roundness, okay, and even all these different settings, okay, how wide you want the bevel to be, right? So this is a pretty useful tool if you want to create a very nice looking bevel, but please use it sparingly, because every time you use bevels or you insert edge loop, like I mentioned earlier on, it will increase the amount of detail, and then you have a harder time trying to adjust it. So use it only when you need it. And in your heads-up display, Okay, make sure you turn on your poly count. All right. Okay, I'm going to stop the streaming now. So I want you guys to think about all the tools that I've talked about. Okay, the bridging tool. Okay, the pen to poly tool, the multi-cut tool, the bevel tool, and then the selection options in the different edges. If you're still not sure, please rewind this video and watch again.